are we going to try and do introductions or a roll call?
Yeah, on the phone, but I don't know how we are going to do that. So I have everyone, I can see everyone who's on there. So what I need are the people on the phone to tell me who's on the phone.
So
maybe, Mayor, can I make a suggestion? This is Pete Sorensen.
yes, go ahead, Pete.
Maybe you could call the jurisdictions, and then the people from the jurisdictions that are members could respond.
Yes, I think Brenda can see the people that are on screen, but we're going to ask for those that are on the phone. So your suggestion is maybe Brenda can do it.
Yeah, but my point is, I can't tell what other people are on the call myself. So if you just went down roll call of jurisdictions, then I would know who is present.
He's on the phone, he can't.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So I will tell you, I'm gonna call your name if I know you're on the call. So, and I'm not gonna use your official titles in case someone else is on the call that, you know. So I have Joe Pictionary, AJ Jackson, Ann Heath, Carl Ye, Ellen Courier, Tom Boyat, Matt Rodriguez, Kate Reed, Sasha Vatarian, Joe Burney, Lucy Vinnis, Ray Smith, Dan Hurley, Dan Collister, and that's who I can see. Oh, and Sid Shope and Rob Ennerfeld. That's who I can see. So if I didn't call your name, and Pete Sorensen,
this is Betty.
I know you're here.
Hello, this is Betty Taylor. I tried to get in and I couldn't do the one thing, so I'm on the phone.
Thank you. Who else is on?
And this is Franny Brindle.
Bill Johnston with ODOT.
Pete Sorensen, Lane County Commissioner.
Hi, Kelly Clark. with
Port
ODOT.
of Coos Bay.
Okay, we heard someone's from Port of Coos Bay and then someone else. We didn't count.
Kelly Clark and Port of Coos Bay.
Okay. It shows that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 callers. So we probably don't have all of them. Yeah.
No.
Okay, is there someone else that's on the call that has not identified themselves?
Yes, Nancy Newman, City of Springfield.
And Neil Ladati, City of Springfield.
Emma Newman, City of Springfield.
Andrew Martin, Lane Transit District.
Who was that?
Nancy, Neil, Emma, and Andrew from LTD.
Okay.
Jeff Kernan, City of Coburg.
Jeff, City of Coburg, and another one.
Who else besides Jeff Kernan?
There was one more after Jeff.
Webb Sussman, City of Eugene.
Okay.
Except I'm not city, just a resident.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Does that, have we counted?
Anyone else on the phone that we haven't?
Is there anyone else on the phone who hasn't responded? Okay, all right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And the first item up is approval of the meeting minutes. So I would be looking.
I would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Okay.
This is Councilor Pictionary.
And I'll second it. Lucy
Okay.
Venice.
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Did you want to do a roll call of the voting members, or do you want to just do? Let's just go ahead and try all those in favor say aye.
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 Um,
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, motion carries. Are there any adjustments to the agenda or from MPC members? I know that the meeting agenda has been adjusted. Do you need to talk about that?
I just wanted to make sure everybody received the new agenda and the material for the new item, the letter of support for the Port of Coos Bay grant proposal. If anybody does not have that, please speak up now.
Okay, sounds like everyone got the new agenda with Port of Coos Bay grant proposal. So are there any other adjustments or announcements from MPC members? Okay, hearing none. The next item is comments from the audience. Is there anyone wishing to make a comment to the group? And we do have a letter or an email that will also be referred to when we're talking about the Port of Coos Bay rail line.
Yes, just to be clear, earlier this morning, I received an email containing a question from Webb Sussman. It pertains to the letter of support for the Coos Bay agenda item. I discussed this with Coos Bay, with Chair Lundberg and with Webb Sussman, and they've agreed that we will, I will read this question and we will address it during that agenda item.
Okay. Is there anyone else wishing to make comments to MPC at this time? Okay. Hearing no one wishing to speak, I'm going to go on to item 6A and our Unified Planning Work Program Addendum and Funding. And Paul Thompson, are you doing them?
I am doing that. Thank
Okay.
you. I hope everyone can hear me. This item is to request approval of Resolution 2020-02 adopting the UPWP or Unified Planning Work Program Addendum for next fiscal year. This is adopting the document that you were presented in draft form last month. Last month you held a public hearing and there was a 30-day public comment period open. There were no comments received during that period. In front of you in your packet this month is a slightly updated final version of the Unified Planning Work Program. As noted in your cover memo, we updated a local match amount by about $1,000 just to get that technically corrected. We also added some language around the local agency certification program that ODOT requested be in the Unified Planning Work Program. Other than that, the draft has not changed. I want to make one other comment, which is while we are asking for adoption of the document in front of you, I was on a statewide meeting yesterday with all of the MPOs and ODOT, and it was noted that ODOT is still coordinating with the MPOs to make sure that the dollar figures are correct, reflecting next year's funding amounts. There's some complexities this time around in getting those numbers precise. So while we are asking for adoption today, I want to make you aware that I may need to make another technical correction or two to the federal funding amounts if ODOT suggests or tells me that those numbers have changed. And I can handle those as technical corrections, but I just wanted to say that up front.
Okay. So are there any comments or questions about this item?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
This is Joe Pishneri. I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-03, adopting 21-24 of the.
Two.
Yeah. Pardon me?
2, not 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, the one above. Resolution 2020-2, adopting Central Lane MPO, UPWP, and funding.
Okay. Motion, is there a second? Okay, second, Mayor Ray Smith. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? Okay, with that, motion 6A for the Unified Work Planning Program Addendum is passed. Next item is 6B, and it has Dan Callister.
I'm actually going to lead that. We just thought it might be a little easier with me being in the room to introduce this item. Dan is available on this meeting cast if there are questions. This is similar in that we are asking this time for approval of Resolution 2020-03, adopting the 2021 through 2024 Metropolitan Transportation Improvement Program, and Resolution 2020-04, adopting the accompanying air quality conformity determination. Again, both of these draft documents were presented last month. There were public hearings held, and there were public comment periods open on both documents. There have been no comments received. The cover memo does list a number of revisions to both documents that have happened in the past month. They were all fairly straightforward, just corrections to details and clarification on language. Your staff advisory committee recommends approval of both resolutions.
Okay. Is there any discussion or questions about this action?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
So I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-3, adopting 21-24 of the MTIP, and Resolution 2020-4, adopting the AQCD.
Second.
second. Okay, there's been a motion and second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay. Oh, who was the second? Was that you, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, Joe and Joe.
Joe and Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. So any opposed? Okay. All right. The motion carries. So now we are on to the Port of Coos Bay grant and the letter or email that we received.
Yes, so two things I'll just say in introducing this item. First, we received a request for this letter of support on Monday, and I included in the email that I sent out some information from Patrick, representative from the Port of Coos Bay. He is on the line with us today. And I also included the draft proposed letter of support in that email. So hopefully you have been able to look at that. The second thing I'll mention, as we touched on earlier today, we received a question from the public. So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and read that now. So Webb Sussman sent an email this morning and it stated the following. On the agenda item concerning the Coos Bay rail line, I was under the impression that one of the goals of all the improvement money being spent on this line was to make rail shipping attractive enough to take truck traffic off 101. Rail speeds of 5 to 10 miles per hour aren't going to do that. Will these improvements be enough to raise the average speed of the trains above 10 miles per hour for any significant length of the trip? I believe that question is most appropriately posed to Patrick, if he's still on the line with us.
I am. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time. That's a great question. This alone will not do that, raise the track speed, but without having a tie-in surfacing program, we won't be able to raise the track speed. And I'll give you a little bit of background. A couple of the larger projects that we've had, one is for the tunnel improvements, and we are just about done with those improvements. They'll be completed in November, December, is a big chunk of it for the tunnels themselves. The next big project is for the bridges. I have 121 bridges. These are replacing or improving 15 of those bridges along the line. This specific project is one of the nuts and bolts of the railroad. It's just specifically put in about 56 plus or minus 1,000 ties, cross ties, and surfacing, tamping that up. We're out there doing some work out there along Highway 126 at Coyote Creek now, doing some of this work internally. This will allow us to strengthen the roadbed so we can bring the track speeds up to a class 2, which is about 20 miles an hour. It won't be the whole length of the railroad because there'll be bridges that need to be replaced and other things, but it will really solidify our cause to get that up to large stretches of 20-mile-an-hour track.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Well, you made it clear that these repairs in and of themselves don't raise the speed, but others will. But I guess a follow-up question would be, but these repairs are necessary just to be able to use the line. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Are there other questions or comments about this item? Okay. So you all have the letter, you should have the letter
Mayor?
of support. Yes.
Joe Bernie had a question.
Oh, Joe, go ahead.
That's okay, Madam Chair. I've been overlooked by many people. My question, I'm just being silly. My question was, Mr. Sussman brings up an interesting point. It's not going to interfere with my vote to approve this at all, but I'm curious whether it's realistic and what the costs and time frame would be, if knowable, to bring the railroad up to a speed where it actually would displace some truck traffic on the road. I'm just curious, if I may.
You bet. That's a great question. And I'll, if I can, a moment here. What drives the railroad track speed is the condition of the track and certain FRA standards. One of the things that you have to do is if you raise the track speed above 25 miles an hour, you have to have dispatchers like you do at the police station and whatnot to govern the traffic out there. And to get it to a certain speed above 40 miles an hour takes you to a different class. That all being said, I could have the fastest railroad out there, which I want to have a safe one, but I want to have the customers be able to do that. And the customers we're actually bringing on are from Green Hill, Reload, down to the coast is actually local traffic that they're taking off of the road, off of trucks, putting them into rail cars and going back and forth now. So we're solidifying some of that business to keep traffic that belongs on the rail off of the highway because of that corridor is a very valuable corridor to the county and to the state.
Thank you very much. I just find that fascinating.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Sorensen.
Hey, thanks a lot. Well, first of all, I am a graduate of North Bend High School and Southwestern Oregon Community College, so I appreciate all the advocacy of the Port of Coos Bay on this. And I have a question about whether or not any studies have been undertaken about the issue that we're kind of talking about here, namely, will freight be taken off of highways or roads as a result of the improvements that we're making in the railroad? And do you have any studies that might give some insight into how much freight is potentially going off, or in the past has gone off, or when the railroad line was shut down, how much traffic, tonnage, or however you measure it, was put on the roads when you were in your more dormant phase? So can you just give us a little more education on that? And I think I really appreciate all the advocacy from the port on this.
Oh, you bet. Another great question. We have over 70 plus miles of rail in Lane County, and we have 134 miles total. So there's a big chunk of ours is in the rural Lane County. The railroad historically was running between 2,500 to 5,000 cars a year, up into where the line shut down for various reasons. It started back up 2014. It had about 2,400 rail cars and was the short line of the year, national short line of the year. Then it came up to 5,000 and up to 7,500 rail cars through 2016, 17. And then it just turned south. We had issues with our bridges. We had Georgia Pacific, GP left, and that was about a third of our business down in that area. Right now, we are operating between 4,000 and 5,000 rail cars a year on the line with our valued customers that are out there. We have about 8 of them that are handling that, and there's about 3.5 trucks per rail car that displaces. Put it into perspective, if we took all the rail cars that we had and when it went away, you added about 75 trucks a day to that corridor. So every day you'd have about 75 additional tractor trailers with that amount of traffic.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Other questions, comments? So the action requested here is to approve the letter of support. So
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter of support.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor Smith, second.
Mayor Smith. Okay. Good. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is our follow-ups and next steps. And the first is our ODOT update.
Hi, this is Franny.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, first I wanted to announce that I'm happy to report that the eastbound Delta ramp to southbound I-105 has been opened fully. We had, that work was all completed at the end of April, and that was our big concern around traffic congestion in this metropolitan area due to construction, but now that seems to have passed, and the work was done under low traffic conditions, which we were grateful for. The other thing I wanted to announce is that there is a new funding program that I heard about for the first time yesterday. It's called Oregon Community Pass Program, PATHS, PASS. It's new funding using state and federal funds for biking and pedestrian off the roadway. It was brought to us by House Bill 2592, which was enacted in 2019. It will cover 2 types of community paths. One would be critical links that would connect schools with downtown and shopping areas and jobs. And secondly, regional paths, such as our river path system. Regional would be between communities. And the grant would cover development, resurfacing, construction, and reconstruction. And TAP funds are eligible for the planning and project development. Again, this is for regional paths that are primarily physically separated from the roadway. And the applicants can be city, county, state government, tribes, transit districts, school districts, special government bodies, other than, and so that would be like even Willamette Lane, those kinds of groups. And what else do I have to say? That is, the total amount will be about $19.2 million over a 4 or 5 year period. The letters of interest will be coming out for in October is when they'll be starting. and applications will be due between November and January. And so I just heard about it and I wanted to get that information. I'll have more information about it and can share this information in writing when I get it. I have a bit of a slideshow as well that kind of explains it a little bit, but that's all I have.
Well, I'm just going to say that's really good news. I'm looking at Mayor Vinnis, maybe that, you know, we've been down on the bike path on Franklin that could definitely use some work. So that's
Yep.
great news. Okay. So the other thing on is our MTIP administrative amendments, and there is an attachment with those. If there's no questions with that, we can continue on, which is to make the announcement that the next meeting is at the Eugene Library. Yes?
Maybe.
Maybe, oh, that's right.
We don't-
Or another virtual meeting, which is probably what we're going to be doing. So anyway, so thank you everyone so much. And I hope you have a great weekend. It looks like it's going to be beautiful. So enjoy this weather and get out, safely distancing, etc. But enjoy this great weather that we're going to have. So with that, the MPC meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you.
Thank you.